In race 1 of the 2020 Canadian Superbike Championship Series at Calabogie Motorsport Park, Jordan Zoek got off to a quick start and never looked back, securing his first victory of the season. Today, in race number 2, Zoek tries for his second in a row. Hello everyone and welcome to Calabogie Motorsport Park as the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers proudly present Race 2 of the 2020 Csbk season. Brought to you by Suzuki, Way of Life, Yamaha, Revs Your Heart, and BMW Motorrad, the ultimate ride.
Heading out on our single warm-up lap for our second Pro Superbike Feature National of 2020 here at Calabogie. The first race was in the heat of the day, the height of the sun. Fortunately, a little cooler, a little easier on our Spec Dunlop rubber, and the riders will be looking to see if they can get a little more lap time with the improvement in the track conditions.
Well, Colin, this is going to be a very interesting rematch, if you will, this being the second race on the same day, and everything's sort of crowded into one day where we would normally have 3 days to get things done. But a little bit of a crowded schedule coming in, and as you mentioned, we're running late in the afternoon now. I don't know whether sunset is going to have any effect on the riders at all. Yeah,
I think with the long days this time of year, we're okay on that, but we have an interesting situation. The earlier race, Zoek got a good lead, controlled the pace, fantastic battle between 5 or 6 riders for second, and Zoek's going to be looking to do the same. And then you look at the rest of that front row as we watch for those start lights to go off.
IBEW lights are all on right now. The revs are now mounting on the starting line. Lights are off, clutches are out, and we're away and running down into turn number 1, race number 2 in the first round of the Csbk series for 2020. Down into 1 they go, Colin.
Zoek in the lead, and I think that's Michael Leon, the Royal Distributing BMW in second, and Samuel Garant, our outstanding rookie pro, fulfilling his front row start in third, then Jeff Williams in fourth, and we're on board with our 5th place Suzuki of Trevor, who of course managed to make it onto the podium in the opening event just a few hours ago.
But he has created a bit of a hole to climb out of with that less than perfect start, shall we say, to be kind to him. He is running a somewhat distant 5th place right now.
And if you look at that shot we just saw as they come onto the second of the straights here at Calabogie, and this time the pack is much, much closer. Believe it or not, last time, a quarter of a lap in, Zoek already had one of the most impressive leads we ever seen. And of course, this track has a very long lap, so that can be a little misleading, over 2 minutes, which is not typical for road races. And here we are on board with Williams, and you can still see Zoek not that far ahead. The question is, can these guys get motivated and really start to look for time? And I think that was Williams making the move on Garant for 4th. Can Garant get rowing?
Oh, Garant trying to come back as he tries the outside line. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, so you can see there, that's Leon in the middle of the shot. Garant actually has good lines here at Calabogie, but a little too wide there. And Williams, we've seen, is willing and quite able to change up his lines immediately when he sees the slightest opening, and Garant definitely left the door open. To his credit, he tried to get right back. Let's hope that this time, this race, he can stay close. Last time he eventually
Williams on the move. He has gathered up Leon. Williams now into second spot. Man, he is not letting Zoek get away with this one. Zoek had a much larger lead in the first race earlier on this day, but this time Williams seems to have a sniff of him.
Well, I wonder if our earlier race, first Superbike National of the season, if maybe everybody was just a little bit careful and now they have more confidence in the tires, because Williams is very aggressive for an opening lap, and he's definitely on the hunt. Look at that. He's opening up a little bit of a lead on Leon, and these guys are right with Zoek, much closer than a lap in a few hours ago in our opening race of the season.
Garant right in behind Michael Leon on the Royal Distributing BMW, and he'll be wanting to do somewhat better than he did in the first round. He knows this track intimately. Third fastest qualifier, started on the front row, and maybe this time around he will not let the pack get away from him.
And Williams is pulling clear of Leon very, very quickly, and definitely trying to hang in there with Zoek, and I would say their pace is probably very, very similar. Now look at the back of this group. There's Daly in 5th, and then 6th, Tremblay on that Kawasaki 636, and that is a remarkable performance. We saw that in the first race. Obviously no flash of the pan, and by the way, Tremblay did pretty well in Liqui Pro Sport Bike in between these 2 races, so he's going for some kind of Ironman award today.
Yeah, tip of the hat also to seventh place runner Ivan Babic. He's having a very good ride out there. Ivan was in contention for the Brooklyn Cycle Racing Rookie of the Year last year. He ended up a little bit short on that, but now into his sophomore year in pro racing, and he's definitely improving his game.
We just saw Zoke coming into the final sequence of turns, climbing up that very, very steep hill, and we're looking back at Jeff Williams. And remember, this is a wide-angle lens for our onboard. Look at that. Williams is maybe 4 bike lengths back, so he has caught Zoke, and Zoke probably thinks he's in a similar position to what he was in our opener. This time he's facing some serious opposition.
With Jeff Williams closing in on Jordan Zoke, we'll be right back. The IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, presenting round 2 of the 2020 season. We are here at Calabogie Motorsport Park.
Jordan Zoke holding now a very slim lead from the second place BMW of Jeff Williams. Then we have a small gap. Samuel Garin, the rookie pro, doing a good job of holding off a couple of seasoned veterans, and Michael Leon and Trevor Daly. And this is a shakeup from what we saw earlier today in our opening race. Round 2, of course, of our abbreviated and late starting season, because it's been a little bit busy around North America, actually the whole world, in case you've missed it. Now we're on board, and it's very, very busy with Jordan Zoke's leading Kawasaki, because he has Jeff Williams glued to his tail. Zoke aboard that year-old, fairly well-sorted Kawasaki with the engine built by Fast Company. Meanwhile, right behind is an absolutely brand new BMW. This is its first day of competition, and it is relatively more stock because, of course, the parts are just coming in. As you can see, Williams in one of the tightest sections of the track, arguably the slowest turn, along with a turnabout 5 from here, Frank, that Williams is all over the back of Zoke. And these guys have been racing together on and off since the late 90s when they were Kawasaki teammates.
Yeah, but Jeff had a bit of a hiatus, as you well know. This is great stuff. 2 former champions and an existing champion. Zoke, as you'll remember, Colin, had not a great deal of good luck last year, busting 2 of those Kawasaki Superbikes on his way to finishing second.
Well, he also had some race wins, and he ran very close to our champion from last year, Ben Young, who has opted not to race here at Calabogie.
Whoa,
but look at
Williams.
the move.
He's made the oh man, I'm sure he had the pass in hand there, and Jordan Zoke returned the favor.
There we can see Williams is really, really close to the back of Zoke, and we're going to go on board and go back and see that again. And I actually think Jeff Williams might momentarily have been leading the race for an inch or two, probably just enough that Jordan Zoke saw him in his peripheral vision. There. Here they come up the hill, it's steep, and right here I think Jeff might be just in front, and I think we can say safely that Jordan Zoke slammed the door.
Yeah.
Wasn't going to let that happen. And remember, in our last race, the reverse move happened, and Williams made it work a couple of times with a fair bit of drama. And Zoke now is well aware that Williams is on his tail and is looking to make a move. So now the lap times are going to change.
And Williams is not using that fancy way to the left over to the pit lane line coming into turn number 1 this time around. This time he is right in Jordan Zoke's wheel tracks, and I got a sneaking suspicion that Jammin' Jeff Williams has intentions of winning a Superbike race. How many years later?
Well, a little over 2 decades when he won in Calgary back in the late 90s, 98. But have a look on the way Jeff is riding that brand new BMW, and of course it's early days for development, but he is getting it up on a fat part of the tire and really letting that motor put down the horsepower. We're restricted to 200 horsepower in the DynoJet dyno in this series, and both of these bikes are in the high 180s, low 190s, and asking a lot out of those rear Dunlop slicks when you put that kind of power down in a motorcycle where the contact patch of the tire is relatively narrow compared to automobiles.
Well, our multi-time champion, I'm talking about Jordan Zoke on the Kawasaki now, is not getting, or did not get a whole lot of TV time, Colin, in the first race, but this time we're seeing a lot of them.
Yeah, and the pressure from Williams is going to yield some interesting lap times. As we said, we think the track conditions are slightly better for those lap times. And yeah, Williams is glued to the tail of Zoke. And this section here may be the tightest, and you really had a good look, and you can see the TC kind of kicking in on that Kawasaki. Of course, electronics are so crucial to getting the most of these bikes, and here's where Williams likes to go hunting.
Yeah, he passed him there last time around, as you know, and he has done it again. Jeff Williams has moved into the race lead. Oh no, Zoke comes right back again. This is like 2 prize fighters exchanging blows, as Williams has made 2 passes, I'll reckon, on Jordan Zoke.
As we watch the replay, it's very exciting because Zoke actually has a moment here. Then Jeff does his crazy dive up the inside, which has worked before. This time, Jordan knows about it, but Jeff can't pick up his own line. He ends up a little bit wide. But the remarkable thing is Jordan, who's just saved his Kawasaki, pounces immediately. And I'm sure Jeff is going, what just happened? I have the lead of this race. And that's the second time he's made an impressive move there. That one was really bold. And we haven't seen too many moves like that against Jordan Zoke in the last 20-odd years.
But he has had the lead. He knows what that clear field of vision is all about, and he is still very much within striking distance. He could easily throw a stone and hit Jordan at any given time.
And what's frustrating for Jeff is he hasn't led across the line, right? So we've seen those two moves. One of them for sure he was leading for 70, 80 yards, but he isn't going to be credited as leading, and that's very, very frustrating. Nonetheless, right now, he doesn't care about that because he's trying to win the darn thing.
I query, where is Leon? Where is Daly? Where is Tremblay? Where's Garand? These guys have made the show. Jeff Williams and Jordan Zoke.
Well, what's happened is these guys have cleared off, right? They've dropped their lap times. They're racing each other. They're comfortable and they're confident. And the other guys couldn't go with them. Maybe they could have hung in. I'm sure Daly could do these lap times. I can't tell you for certain what happened, but look at that. Williams is working the heck out of that tire, and that's what happens when you're comfortable and you're confident. You can use so much of the bike, and having that setup, and there he goes again.
There he goes again. Did he make the pass that time? I'm going to give it to him. I'm a Jeff Williams fan. That's 3 times he's passed Jordan.
And look at Jordan up the inside there, right? He blocked that. He shut the door cleanly. He knows what Jeff can do. He knows that's a bad spot. So Jordan is already being careful. And I think the message there is whatever you're thinking about at the end of this race, it's not happening there.
A hectic battle for the race lead here at Calabogie Motorsport Park as IBEW presents CSBK 2020. We'll be right back. Working lap 7 of our Pro Superbike race. Earlier today, we staged the Liqui-Moly Pro Sportbike race.
Strong field of middleweight machines, and we had yet another demonstration from the man who's becoming the class king. You can see him closest to the camera there on the launch as the field heads into turn 1, and that is Sebastien Tremblay. Quite a number of fast guys in this class, but Tremblay put on a demonstration, and he has been amongst the front runners for a while. Last year was a definite contender, but had some very bad luck. No such problem as he won convincingly today. Let's hear about that victory from Seb.
Today was put more head down, get a gap, and then conserve the gap. I would like to thank Turcan Performance for their continued support this year. Gulf Oil, RST, ST Motorsport, my own shop. I am Pickle Racing. Thanks a lot for all the marshals as well, all Pro 6 staff, all CSBK for organizing this event today.
An all-Quebec podium with Tremblay on top, Allard and Lavillon joining him there.
Good middleweight action, but now we are back with the heavyweights, and Jordan Zoke has eked out a good, gigantic 8 bike length lead from Jeff Williams, who continues to pour on the pressure. And we've seen several moves from Williams. None of them have worked out. One of them was remarkable in that it didn't, given the ambition that it showed. And here we are heading into one of my favorite sections of the track. You can see the sun's starting to get a little lower. It's cooling off, which is good for the riders and good for the tires. But Jeff is right on top of Zoke. And of course, this is Zoke's second year back on Kawasaki after leading the BMW team. And Williams has that brand new BMW no longer available to Jordan Zoke.
Colin, talk for a moment about the sun and the way it might affect the rider's vision here.
Well, I think when you've ridden, practiced, qualified, raced already today, this is the second race, it's not any kind of problem at all because you're so familiar with the track. Your muscle memory is so good as we go through this section where Jeff's been pouncing on Jordan. Look here, you can physically see how much he's able to make time. But Jordan isn't trying to make time. He's blocking now. Yep. And this is going to be a problem because that seems to be the one spot Jeff's sure he can make a move. Jordan knows he can make a move too. So we're going to have to do some different kind of math if we're going to see an opportunity for Jeff to take the win as they come onto the front straight. And look at how, well, actually, no, they're not that far ahead. Trevor Daly has caught up a little bit. So again, those lap times, Daly, we thought could do some strong times, and he definitely is capable. I don't know if he has enough time, given the races are a little shorter than normal here, to make that kind of move, because we only have 2 laps left.
Well, the other thing is, you can rest assured that Zoke and Williams are not slowing one another up at all. If anything, Zoke, of course, is getting the pit lane. He knows full well that Jeff's there, and with intentions on winning this second of 2 races here today, he will be focused on that. But of course, Jam and Jeff has different ideas, and we talked about leaving the door open. You don't have to leave it open very much for Jeff Williams to get through.
No, he's used as much of the track as there is available, and a little bit extra.
Coming off deliverance there.
He's trying really hard, and don't forget, with Jordan pushing the pace, which he certainly didn't expect to have to do, Jeff is seeing everything Jordan has, right? Jordan cannot afford to hang back, so that's got to help Jeff as well. But it does scare me a little bit in that Jordan clearly has upped the pace yet again, and I wonder, does Jeff have any gas in the tank in his second race of the day?
That's a very good point. He is a working man and not a professional racer the way Jordan Zoke is. However, he has come into this season with a true commitment, not only on the racetrack, but he's also helping CSBK out through his company. Williams Paving is helping us particularly with these 2 races here at Calabogie Motorsport Park.
Yeah, Williams Paving and Pro 6, who run a lot of track days here, have combined to help us find a way to do this, which was a bit of a crazy scramble, but that's not unusual in the year of COVID.
Well, in the year 2020, to be at the racetrack again, to me, is it's a miracle. And Williams is starting to create a miracle of his own as he is back within striking distance. Down the front straightaway they go. Now, with just 2 laps remaining, we're going to take a quick break from the action here. We'll be right back as IBEW brings CSBK 2020 to Calabogie Motorsport Park. Portions of this national championship event have been presented by Kawasaki, Pro 6 Cycle, MotorcycleCourse.com, and our official charity, Revs for Rhett.
Getting down to the thrilling completion here at Calabogie, race 2 of our delayed 2020 CSBK National Tour. And Jordan Zoke and Jeff Williams, Kawasaki versus BMW, and this is the fight for first.
This is exactly where Williams wants to be, rather. I know you might say, well, he wants to be leading this race. Not yet is my suggestion. I think Williams wants to sit right where he is. He's in the catbird spot right now. Wait for that opportunity, and you know it's going to arrive. And take the race lead and just maybe pull off the win.
And I think we've seen the pace steadily increase here. Jordan, I think, is setting the pace and waiting to see if Jeff can respond. Now, watching this shot, if you look in the background, no, we didn't quite see Trevor Daly's Suzuki, but he actually has been matching punch per punch and has actually caught up maybe just a little tiny bit. So too late for Daly to do better than third, but his lap time suggests he could have been part of this dispute.
Yeah, he's solidly into the low 204s for Daly, but it's too little too late by the looks of it.
Or too much too late.
Yeah, quite so. On board with Jeff Williams once more, and Zoke is pulling out a little magic here. He's getting some pretty serious distance for last lap charge.
And remember that this section of the track, they've been pretty equal so far. We did briefly see Daly in the background of that last shot, but it's the actual very end part of the lap where Williams has been so impressive. But the problem there is that our leader, Jordan Zoke, is very aware that this is the spot where Williams can get him. And look, this time, for the first time, Williams isn't in striking distance with just over a lap to go. He's going to have to be right on top of Zoke here, and he's not the same. Actually, you could see he bobbled and drifted a little wide there. So Williams is fighting the good fight, but he's dangerously far back with only a long lap to go.
Hopefully he's smart enough not to trash that thing and end up on his backside on at trackside. Last lap flag is out as we head down into turn number 1, and Zoke recording a 2:04 last time around. Williams a little bit off pace, Colin.
Yeah, so
there is Daly. He's in it.
So Daly has caught up, but the problem is actually Jeff lost a little bit of time there, more than Jordan picking it up. Of course, with the tires worn at this point in the day, it's very hard to know what the ultimate pace is. We should also mention Michael Leon, who was in theory going to be part of this battle, as was Trevor Daly. He had an electrical problem with his BMW, so that put him out, which is a disappointment after a podium in our opener earlier today.
Sebastian Tremblay was running in 4th spot last time we checked, and I think it was Garan in 5th, if I'm not mistaken. So he's had a much better afternoon than he did early day.
Saw Zoke using all the track there with the tires spinning and sliding just a bit. He's really in control and riding that bike with considerable confidence. And of course, this being the start of his second season, Fast Company have developed some new engine ideas, some different tuning, and he has 2 good Superbikes to choose from. So Jordan is in a very, very good position in terms of the championship, which is going to be quite abbreviated this season due to the various challenges that all the different activities face.
Daly comes within view once more. I was really hoping for a nail-biting last lap, but that is obviously not happening. Jordan Zook has laid the hammer down, and as he did earlier today, he is laying a beating on the boys.
And he's very happy right now because no sign of Jeff Williams in this section of the track, and I'm sure that was weighing on his mind to be very effective and perfect through here, and it looks like he's done what he needs to do.
Checkered flag will be ready. There it is. It's on the front straightaway. Zook with his head down all the way, and Daly coming out of the final corner and closing up. It's really too bad that Daly didn't start his charge just a few laps earlier.
And have a look there, Zook looking behind because he's surprised Jeff Williams wasn't right on his tail as we see our top 10. Tremblay on that Kawasaki, a very strong 4th. Garant fading to 5th. Still a good rookie pro effort. Ivan Babic, another strong effort for Bernhard, Bilge, Matthews, and Leon, who of course had mechanical issues with his new BMW.
Great representation from La Belle Province, Colin. Let's head down to the podium.
When I seen the +1, I'm like, right on, this is what I want. And then I seen +0, I'm like, well, I just did my fastest lap of the weekend. Why am I seeing +0? So Jeff did a killer lap and caught up, and then Jeff made a pass on me down into the bowl down here, and went wide, and I was laughing with them. I said I almost followed you because I was trying to watch to see if you were going to keep it on the track. It was so close. Put my head down and did a lot of consistent laps. The last lap it was my 2nd fastest lap of the race. The bike was really, really good. Super happy, to have a year under my belt with the Kawasaki and get the pieces we needed to make it into that perfect bike.
That was a good ride. A little bit different than the first race we did. We had a little bit of an oil leak on the first race. Talked back and Jim fixed it up, and that was all the difference. About the 6th lap, I was like, you know what? There's a good possibility I could win this race, but you know what? Jordan's got a fast bike. It comes out of the corners well. I was losing a little bit of side grip on exits, and I had a little too much engine brake. By the end of the race, it was tiring me out. But I'd like to thank BMW. I'd like to thank Sandy and Sheena. I'd like to thank Jim. Jim and I have been working on the bike. Jim has been tirelessly putting in hours. That's the package we showed up with at the end of the day.
Definitely got held out a little bit in the first couple laps, and same thing as the first race. Jordan and Jeff got away this time, and definitely had the pace later on, but just definitely something to take and learn from here, that I got to be a little bit stronger, a little bit more aggressive in the first lap or two to not let those guys get out, and we'll be able to race them for the win. M4 exhaust is new sponsor, new part on the bike this weekend, and we actually picked up some horsepower over last year. So then Bobby, Neil, my dad for being here, their help. Again, my buddy Mikey, Dave Weaver, John Cornwell, Team Hammer, all the guys down there have been super supportive, again, everybody, from the series as well, Pro 6, Dunlop, for working really hard behind the scenes to make this happen. We wouldn't be here without you guys, so hats off to you. Thank you.
On behalf of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and the entire CSBK crew, thanks for being with us. Our next broadcast will be from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.